So, have you heard all the news about how cheese is healthy for you? I'm going to break it down and tell you exactly what's going on. But first, my name is Amy. I am a food educator. I'm a food educator, author, and speaker, and I help people understand how to buy food safely and what it means when research says something is safe. What does that actually mean? So let's break it down. So let's start with if you see this, feel free to share, like, and comment. That always helps a small business out. It's the free way to help small businesses is to share, like, comment, whatever you can do. We appreciate it. So let's just jump in. This is a big thing. It's all over my feeds. I've been seeing it for a few weeks now, and every research always comes up saying this food is safe. The news media and outlets will run with it, but they don't really tell you what does that mean that it's safe. Is all cheese safe? And the answer is no. So today let's break down what it is that's safe, what to avoid, and I'll show you example. I'll show you exactly what I eat and what it means for me to eat cheese safely. And I only have one or two brands left that I've been able to find in the country that I can eat safely. And I'm going to break down and let's talk about why that is right now. So I'm going to be sharing some things, a lot of things in the comments. So get ready. Here we go. There's no links. I'm just going to put in the information. That way you can see it on screen and we'll see how this works. I'm just going with it today. It's the end of the year. Let's just see what happens. All right. So what is good cheese? What is bad cheese? A majority of cheese on the market is ultra processed, and I'm really sorry to say that, but it is. So what you think you're eating is like, oh, it's cheese, it's healthy. 99% of the time, it's not. Like I said, I only have two safe blocks of cheese that I can buy that I found that is literally within the country, and I've tried shopping from cheese producers in the U.S., and it's still not safe. And a lot of it is with the added ingredients. So what are some of the things we should be avoiding? And why is so many of our food considered ultra processed? Well, let's start with the first thing to avoid. The first thing you need to avoid is emulsifiers. These are some examples of that I put up on the list. In the comments, we'll list exactly which ones to start looking for. If you look at these, you're going to find these ingredients in a lot of food. And guess what? That's because a majority of the food you buy in a grocery store is actually ultra processed. And so all of the ingredients I'm going to show you are going to be ingredients you're going to find in pretty much everything we eat. So yes, you should not be eating all the food with these ingredients. We're going to avoid emulsifiers is the first one. The next thing, I believe I've got four. I have five lists of what we should be avoiding. All right, so we're going to avoid those emulsifiers. They're going to help the cheese melt smoothly, so stay mixed. So think about all your cheese that, like my cheese, when I have to make a mac and cheese, it never melts nicely. Like it just doesn't. Like you have to add ingredients that are made in a lab to make that happen. And my food, I'm allergic to that. So I can't do that. So I can still have mac and cheese, but it's not like that boxed mac and cheese. That's all lab created ingredients. So there's no health benefit to eating that whatsoever. Great to have on occasion when you're having a bad day and you just need to eat your feelings. Great. Just don't do it all the time. Like once every 90 days. Great, go for it. Schedule your time to have that meltdown. Sorry. Let's move on. Then we're going to avoid preservatives. Again, you're going to see these in everything. This is a big one for me, citric acid. The citric acid is actually black mold and made from corn. So this is one of the things that are in my book, and I talk about how is citric acid made. And because I'm a super sensitive to corn, but I also have a mold allergy, citric acid is a huge trigger for me. So like I'm going to go on a limb here and say, in my opinion, American-made wine is ultra processed as well. And a lot of it comes down to a lot of the ingredients that we're seeing that I'm telling you to avoid are in American-made wines. And my husband and I are already working on the book to talk about wine ingredients. So we'll get there eventually. But we want to avoid preservatives in our food. Preservatives means it has a longer shelf life. So when I work with brands and they've said that they're moving to Amazon, I stop the contract. There's no point of working with me if you are going to sell your products through Amazon, because Amazon requires an amount of shelf stability that means you are adding preservatives, and those preservatives are what we need to avoid if we want to keep our health in check. So if we want to avoid inflammation, some of these are ingredients that are going to be not just preservatives, but some of the other ones that I'm listing today are also going to be problems. So here's a few of the ones that we want to avoid if you're adding. So these are just some, and there are hundreds of ingredients, but these are the top ones you're going to find in your food that you should be avoiding. The next thing we want to be avoiding are anti-caking agents. And this is, I know it's primarily in shredded cheese, right? I don't eat shredded cheese because all of these are going to be somehow made with corn. They're going to be used with corn. These are just agents I'm going to have a reaction to. But if you think about anything that's convenient for you, shredded cheese, sliced cheese, those are all things that are going to be made from lab created ingredients that are going to make you sick. So avoid your anti-caking agents. Again, this is primarily for those people who love shredded cheese. I have shredded cheese, but I shred it myself. I know it's a convenience thing. I know we don't always have time, but we've got to start taking more time for our food, or we're going to be finding ourselves in hospitals. And that's unfortunately how I ended up in my situation. The next thing we want to avoid is added dairy components, milk protein concentrates, milk fat, whey, and water. These are all used to adjust consistency. Again, a great block of cheese requires nothing of these five categories. There's no reason any of these should be added, but they're added to most ingredients. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how do we identify ultra processed cheese? Look at the label. What are those ingredients? Do the list have unfamiliar chemical names, usually emulsifiers like E? Are they used for stabilizers? What I've listed in here is like Kraft cheese, it's Kraft singles, it's Velveeta, it's anything that is pre-packaged and convenient is going to be an ultra processed food more often than not. So be very cautious. If you're curious, if you want to confirm it's ultra processed, flip that package over and look at the ingredients. If there are so many ingredients you can't read the font, don't buy it. Literally, if you have to pull out your phone to read the ingredients, it means it's a lab created food, and don't even waste your time. I say that, but there are some cheese there's one of my cheese blocks that I do, but there's only like 3 or 4 sentence or actual ingredients in my cheese. So let's talk about that. These are all the things you should be avoiding. These are the things you need to avoid, right? So what does a good cheese look like? Well, this is My Safe cheese. My Safe cheese uses raw milk, sea salt, rennet, and culture. Rennet is a whole thing in itself, and that's going to take me a whole nother video to go over. Most rennet is made in a lab. It is not natural. I do buy cheese that says just rennet on it. If it says vegetable rennet, it's not made from plants, it's lab created. It is one of those loopholes that the USDA allows for marketing teams to go through. So rennet, if it says just rennet, it should be natural rennet. If it's a descriptive word of rennet, then it's lab created or commercialized grade, and it's going to be made and it's going to make you sick. That's just the way it works. Raw milk. Raw milk is only because this is the list directly off my cheese that I have in my refrigerator. I am not a raw milk crazed person. I lost dairy over a decade ago because it's just processed with so much corn that dairy isn't natural anymore. Raw milk is no better. There's plenty of science on that. You can read I will pull up peer-reviewed research for you. Raw milk, as we saw, Florida being, the poster child for what not to do with healthcare. Well, you can read all the children that have died because they've consumed raw milk. There's a reason why we have the pasteurization process. It does not mean it's safe for everybody. It's for sure. And in my case, unfortunately, it's not safe for me. So raw milk, it just happens to be what my cheese is made from. In this case, it's not always. I did have milk before, but for whatever reason, with the culture we're in, everything switched to raw milk. Sea salt is key. I can't use basic salt. If it says just salt on the label, that tells me that there's a mix of cornstarch in it. So sea salt is very important because more often than not, there's no cornstarch added to that mix. So I know I'm going to be safe. Rennet, like we just discussed, huge big thing. The culture is it's an active yeast, right? It's an active bacteria, maybe not yeast, but active bacteria that is needed to make the cheese. This is very important to cheese making process. But reality is you don't need anything else. This is all you need in your cheese. Um, all those other ingredients are just added in so that it can stay on the shelf longer. And the longer it stays on the shelf, the sicker it's going to make you. That's the trade off. It's shelf stable. Yay. But now you're not. Only way to say it, you're not anymore. So please be careful with the cheese you're buying. Cheese can be healthy. Cheese can have lots of nutrients and a lot of fantastic value for you, but you have to eat it. You have to find the right cheese to make it right. I will say one of the big things that have come up is a lot of people say, "Well, I'm fine, Amy. I eat Kelly Gold." I will tell you, and I have not looked up their ingredients like even for this broadcast. So just know that Kelly Gold was one of the first cheeses I lost. I can't eat their cheese, I can't eat their butter. So it's been over a decade of not being able to eat Kelly Gold. Doesn't mean it's safe for someone else. Sure, it could just be that they've added so much corn either into the packaging itself versus not adding it, because I am a super sensitive. So if your packaging is made from corn, I'm going to get sick. Or it is the fact that they've added lab created ingredients. And because so many people eat Kelly Gold, it is a mass produced product. I can't help but wonder if there isn't more lab created ingredients that go into their product. So that might have to be a separate altogether as we break down Kelly Gold cheese. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth that much time. But if you are interested in learning more about cheeses, if you want to have a one-on-one with me, but I eat Kelly Gold, let's look it over together. Let's you and I talk about is it impacting you? My food tracking journal will actually let you know if you're impacted. Maybe you're not impacted by it. Maybe it's a cheese that does work for you. That is possible. I'm not saying it's not, but we do need to be much better observant around what we're putting in our bodies. And that means being very, very careful about what cheese is, what we're using for our own health. So if it's something convenient, if you can buy it in any grocery store, check the back of that bag. Make sure if it has more than those 4 ingredients that are in mine, it's going to be a processed to ultra processed food. And at least find one with less amount of ingredients. I know mine is hard to find. Like I again, in the country, there are 2 blocks of cheese I've been able to buy. The other thing, if you want to go just by visuals and you don't want to look at ingredients, cheese is not supposed to be yellow. So if you are avoiding dyes, you should not be eating any yellow cheese. So if you want a challenge, I'll give you a challenge for January 2026. Try and go an entire month without eating yellow cheese. What does that do to you? I'd love to hear your feedback on that, but that's my challenge to you. So the next time you're wondering what's on your table, look me up. I can help you out and figure out what's going on with your food and how it's impacting your health today. Let me know if you want. I did not get that link in there, but look me up on thehiddenconsumer.com/home or go to hiddenconsumersconsulting.com and I will help you. You can look me up, look at what I do for food education. And if you're curious and want to learn more, click the Meet Amy link and let's chat. And we can talk about how much I can help you and what that system would look like and if it's beneficial for you. So next time you're wondering what's on my table, look me up. Let me help you out.